This is Ken Pyle with VOD TV. We're at the 2012 Broadband Communities Summit. We're with the Honorable Larry Strickland, Assistant Secretary of Commerce for the United States. Thank you very much for being with us. The broadband stimulus, we heard today about a third of the deployments are finished, or the deployments are about a third done in general, and so you're getting that infrastructure out there. What's next?
Well, first goal is to get all these projects completed by the end of fiscal year 2013, which would be September of next year. So we're pushing hard with all of our grantees to make sure that they're able to get the projects built on budget and on schedule and deliver all the benefits that they've promised to their communities. After that, our challenge will be sustainability. There won't be any more federal money, so the question will be, can these projects generate enough revenue to cover their operating costs, and hopefully maybe even a little more so they can keep expanding. We're still working through at our end how we will continue to work with these grantees past next September, but this will be the challenge that we'll all face. Having spent $4 billion to improve broadband availability in our underserved and unserved areas, we want to make sure these projects are still here 10, 15, 20 years from now, still delivering benefits as they've promised.
Well, and you have some campaigns that are already out there. Angela talked about that, I guess, a little bit, the digital literacy campaign. And why don't you tell us a little bit about those initiatives?
Sure. Well, broadband availability is only half of the story. The other issue that we are focused on is how to get people to subscribe to the service. In other words, being customers of all these networks that we're building out there. And today, even though we have coverage of anywhere from 90 to 95% of the country in terms of service availability, only about 68% of Americans subscribe at home to broadband. So as part of our challenge on the sustainability side, we need to be addressing why it is that people don't subscribe to broadband. So as part of our program, we've put $250 million into what we call sustainable broadband adoption projects to figure out why people don't subscribe and what are the responses that we can make on the policy side to address that. So for example, one might imagine that the cost of service is a barrier for people subscribing, and we see that in our data, but what emerges probably as much as anything in terms of a reason for not subscribing is that people don't know how to use the service. They don't see the value of it. Well, that's a training and education issue, and so many of our grantees are experimenting with different types of training programs. We have brought all of that information together, all of these training programs online in our digital literacy portal, and so that's available for anybody who wants to see what kind of training is available at our projects and other places around the country. And indeed, people can get trained themselves by browsing through some of the programs and courses that are online at our digital literacy portal.
Do you see that as kind of a two-way portal too? Because there are a lot of best practices. We're going around the country seeing some amazing things with fiber deployment and so forth. So do you see it as kind of interactive where you're taking best practices from other people and submitting them?
Exactly. I mean, what the portal contains are the types of programs that our grantees have been developing and using and successfully using on the ground in the areas where they are providing these programs. What the portal does is let us distribute or allow anyone anywhere in the country to get access to this information. So it's very much part of our overall goal of collecting and analyzing the best practices around the country and providing that information to anyone else who wants to be doing this so that they understand the best way to do these things.
I assume you take them from non-grantees as well, is that right?
Sure, yeah, and on the digital literacy portal, yes, we've taken materials from all sources.
Well, just as far as, we talked about the subscription type of thing and driving demand there, but do you see other applications where perhaps, there's people paying for applications that the end subscriber doesn't even have to pay for, but it may show up as a telemedicine application or something like that?
Well, you do have these different, what we call verticals with the broadband services. So telemedicine is a huge one. We've already talked a little bit about education, but clearly the use of these capabilities in the schoolrooms and then at home for students doing their homework. Each one of these is very important. Open government is a third one, getting governments to take advantage of the technology to improve the services they offer their citizens is very important. And we've worked on these issues. The FCC has been very involved in working on these issues. And more importantly, inside the Obama administration, you have the Department of Education very much focused on digital education. You have the Department of Health and Human Services very, very involved in computerizing health records and taking advantage of broadband technology to improve delivery of healthcare services. So this has been very much a focus of many of the cabinet departments in the Obama administration to take this technology as it becomes more widely available and find ways to apply it to the services that they are offering or that organizations that they work with, such as hospitals or schools, can offer.
And so it breaks the silos down and transcends these different departments.
Right.
So, Mr. Strickland, thank you very much for your time.
Very nice. Thank you.